All right, Mark, let's take a look and see what's going on here. All right. First, with fins, it's okay to swim with fins. I don't have a problem with that, but make sure you do alternate what you do with your fins, meaning don't use them all the time. Maybe for every 50 or 2 lengths that you do with fins, you do 1 or 2 lengths without them. You will very quickly sort of become adapted to using fins and rely on them way too much. So we want to make sure that we get used to the idea that your arms are generating the propulsion, not your kick. And fins are going to sort of like flip that scenario. So we want to use them to help learn skills, and we want to use them to help build strength. But if we use them all the time, it does become detrimental to us. Okay, now also I do love that you're swimming in a pool without any lanes, because it's kind of like swimming in the open water. Let's break this down a little bit. I think you have so much potential. First, pro tip, when we push off of walls, it's a little bit harder with fins, but when we push off of walls or even the ground, we don't want to push off flat on the surface. We want to push off just slightly rotated to one side and slightly under the water so that we can sort of have a moment to generate a kick. We always start with a push, then a kick, and then our arms. And if we start slightly sideways, say instead of being flat, you were maybe 45 degrees or a little close to 45 degrees, your bottom arm, the arm that would be closest to the bottom of the pool, would take the first stroke and start that rotation process for you. Versus you starting flat, you kind of stay flat. But this moment here with this breath, see if I can zoom in a little bit. There we go. When you take your breath, this isn't a bad breath. It's okay. It could be better, sure, but it's not a bad breath. You actually rotate your hip. It's really nice to see. But when you don't breathe, you aren't using your full body to swim. It almost looks like you're trying to prevent yourself from using your full body. Swimming is absolutely a full body exercise and workout. See what I mean? How your hip has stayed pretty flat there. It didn't actually rotate, and you can see that your shoulder is much more rotated than the hip itself, and you have to use your arm in a way that would cause injury actually over time if you swam enough or long enough. This is not a good movement for arms. First, your arm is behind you, right? So your arm is back here, and you're having to flip it to come to the front. But if you rotate your hip, your arm is in front of your body because your hip has rotated. Swimming sometimes can be an optical illusion in a way, in that it looks like people are pulling their arms out of the water, but in reality, their rotation is really taking their arm out of the water, not their elbow, not their arm itself, right? So we want to see your hip rotate upward to get your arm to exit. Your head would stay still if you're not breathing. So I want you to think chest, hips, thighs, ankles, feet would all point toward your right side in this stroke. What I do really like to see, by the way, your timing, it's off a little bit, but you're getting closer to what I coach, which is a opposite quadrant freestyle, it is a better way of swimming. I'm going to put it out there. This is between you and I. I'm not on a public forum, but it is a better way to swim freestyle. So it's something that we'll continue to talk about for sure as we get a little bit more ability. You kind of see how you turned your head. It's not a bad breath. Yeah, I want to see less of your head, but it is for your ability level and skill level, that's not bad at all. Now, you can see you turn your head and then your hip turned. In reality, this is reality. In good practices, I want you to think about turning your hip first and then you turn your head. You should feel your hip open, then turn your head to breathe. All right, so every stroke you take, your body needs to be rotated at the very least, this amount. It could be rotated more for now, but at the very least 45 degrees. Okay, this is a very insightful frame here, because you can see even above the water, your hand is towards the surface. Your head is just below the surface there, just like where your hand is. Your hips, your lower back drop down, and then everything starts coming back up, right? So you're essentially in a banana shape. So what we're looking to do you're putting a lot of work into your low back to move your arms and to rotate your body. And I'm putting that in quotations because you don't rotate really. All right, see how you're like push your lower back down to help get that arm out of the water. This is not unusual. This is very normal. See how you're keeping your legs almost square to the bottom? It's giving you leverage to help lift your back up to take that arm out of the water. We don't do that in freestyle. That's a breaststroke movement. That's even a butterfly movement maybe, but not a freestyle movement. So it is really about making sure we don't use your back down here at all. It's only about using your upper back and getting your whole body to move as a unit in the rotation so that your legs wouldn't stay square to the bottom, but they're going to 45 degrees as well. This is a very unusual thing for people to do, meaning humans don't move their body all as a unit. We always separate our upper body from our lower body on land. It's very rare to see someone actually move as a unit. So in swimming, it's kind of against what we naturally want to do, and you can see it in your swimming, right? Your hips are staying in one position or one plane, and your shoulders are moving in an opposite plane. Well, in swimming, everything is moving together as one. All right, I know you know that, but I gotta say it. It does look like under the water. See how you're sort of literally looking like you're pulling a rope? Like if there was a rope here, you're pulling it back. Well, unfortunately, a lot of swimming terms come from rowing or crew. And in crew, that moment is a pull. But in swimming, we never pull. We push. So I want you to think about making sure you use this spot of your elbow, your forearm, and your palm to push against the water, not pull against the water. It isn't unlike running, basically. When we run, we use the back of our legs to move us forward, right? We use our glutes, our hamstrings, and our calves. Well, in swimming, we would use our back, and we have to use all of that to keep this as a unit as we push. I don't want to get down that rabbit hole. It's more than you need to know right now. See how you kind of don't rotate on that right side, and see how your head turned before your hip. So make sure you feel your hip turn and then your head turn. When you try that, when you practice that, it's going to feel like a late breath. Know it, accept it. You're taking an early breath, so it's going to feel wrong to you. And if it gets to a point where, I like this by the way, if it gets to a point where it feels like you've lost connection to your breath, just go back to what you're doing, because this isn't terrible. So for me, it is going to be a lot of rotation drills that we work on for right now, and we're going to call them sort of coordination full body drills, all right? So yeah, in conclusion for this video, the goal should be to never actually be flat. You should always feel like you're traveling through the flat, and you're 45 with a delay for your recovery, travel through the flat for your next stroke. I'll send you some videos.